कोरोना की दूसरी लहर का एक और हलाकत खेज दिन। पाकिस्तान में 24 घंटों के दौरान मजीद 67 अफराद जान की बाजी हार गए। 2458 नए केसेस रिपोर्ट। फाल केसेस की तादाद 49,105 तक पहुंच गई। इस्लामाबाद, रावलपिंडी, कराची, लाहौर और पेशावर में सबसे ज्यादा केसेस। पेट्रोल, लाइट डीजल और मिट्टी के तेल की कीमतें बरकरार। हाई स्पीड डीजल 4 रुपये फी लीटर महंगा। हाई स्पीड डीजल की कीमत 101 रुपये 43 पैसे से बढ़कर 105 रुपये 43 पैसे हो गई। मुल्तान में पीटीएम का पावर शो। मरियम नवाज के हुकूमत पर लफ्जी वार। कहा कोविड-19 से पहले कोविड-18 को घर भेजना जरूरी है। इक़्तिदार छोड़ दो, खबरदार कर रही हूँ, फिर ना कहना बताया नहीं। पीटीएम का जुम्मे और इतवार को मुल्क भर में मुजाहिरों का ऐलान। मौलाना फजल रहमान कहते हैं 13 दिसंबर को लाहौर जलसा इनके ताबूत में आखिरी कील साबित होगा। हमें इश्तियाल मत दिलाया जाए। कारकुनों को पैगाम देता हूँ, अब आपको घरों से निकलना होगा। बेनज़ीर भुट्टो की छोटी बेटी आसफा भुट्टो की सियासी मैदान में एंट्री। पीटीएम के जलसे में हुकूमत को ललकार। कहा अवाम ने फैसला दे दिया, सेलेक्टेड को अब जाना होगा। सेलेक्टेड के जुल्म जबर के बावजूद अवाम जमा हुए। डेढ़ 100 जलसे भी कर लें, हुकूमत का बाल बीका नहीं कर सकते। जितनी तारीखें दे दें, हुकूमत मुद्दत पूरी करेगी। वज़ीर-ए-ताज शिबली फराज का अपोजिशन को जवाब। कहा नवाज शरीफ का हर गैर जमहूरी काम में मरकजी किरदार रहा। फजल रहमान 12वें खिलाड़ी बन चुके हैं। पीपल्स पार्टी ने कौमी जमात को इलाकाई जमात बना दिया। हुकूमत ने अपोजिशन का ख्वाब चकनाचूर कर दिया। नजर आ गया कि मुल्तान में तकरीरें करने वाले ज्यादा थे और सुनने वाले कम। फिरदौस आशिकवान की एक्सप्रेस न्यूज़ के प्रोग्राम एक्सप्रेसो में गुफ्तगू। कहा कोरोना केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं। एनसीओसी ने पंजाब में जलसा जुलूस की हौसला शिकनी पर इत्तफाक किया। 300 से ज्यादा अफराद के इज्तिमा को रोका गया। अपोजिशन चाहती है आवाम की गिरफ्तारियां हों और मुकदमे हों। और पाकिस्तान और चीनी अफवाज के दरमियान दिफाई ताउन को बढ़ाने के मुआहदे पर दस्तखत। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा से चीन के वजीर कौमी दिफा की मुलाकात। DGISPR के मुताबिक जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा ने कहा पाक फौज चीन के साथ बरादराना ताल्लुकात की बहुत कदर करती है। दोनों मुमालिक हमेशा साथ खड़े रहे हैं।
So right now we have a very special segment today. We're going to talk about something very important, very specific, related to our society, the problems that we have in our society. We are actually joined by USAID's Mission Director Julie Connion, who is a long-time veteran of international and development in addition to her current services as the USAID Pakistan Mission Director, which has started in 2019. She served in Pakistan as USAID Office Director for Democracy and Governance from 2004 till 2007.
And as USAID's Deputy Mission Director in Karachi from 2010 to 2011. She has also served with USAID in Nigeria, Sierra Leone and Colombia. We are thrilled and honored to have her on our show and we welcome you. I wish you a very good morning. I hope you are doing well. How does your morning start, Julia?
And it got better with Expresso, we believe.
Well, good morning, Imran and Armala. I'm very happy to be here. The morning is starting off very well. Thank you.
Well, first of all, let me say you look gorgeous. You look really nice.
Oh, yes.
And wearing such a bright color, you know, kind of morning color, I must say. So it's a pleasure to have you with us in our show, Julia. First of all, just let us know about your experience to be in Pakistan. You know, you've been here before, we know that. But how's this particular spell when there's a COVID season going on and then you're in Pakistan? Yeah. How do you feel?
Well, I do seem to keep returning to Pakistan and gladly to do so. Pakistan is a place that keeps drawing me back. There's such diversity in the people, in the terrain, in the development challenges. And it's a place that I come back to because the partnerships that we achieve here, we're able to accomplish a lot. I will say it has been challenging with COVID this time. We haven't been able to move around as much. We've mobilized to provide partnership and support on specific COVID related issues to try to help Pakistan weather the storm of COVID.
Okay, that's great. Julia, what's your morning routine most of the time when you're in Pakistan? Because we really want to know, what do you like the most about this Pakistan, and specifically if we talk about Pakistani people?
Well, the morning regime is getting up very, very early and taking my coffee in the morning. I go through the news of Pakistan to just keep up with what's happening all over the country. Normally come into work and the staff is there, and we're ready to go every single day. It's a very motivated staff. The vast majority of my team in Pakistan are Pakistani, so I get a wonderful opportunity to enjoy the humor, the seriousness, the brilliance of my Pakistani staff.
So this is what we Pakistanis are known for, you know, mainly the humor, the food and the breakfast and all that. Well, it's really great to know. Let's come to the subject now. You have a great career. I was just reading about you, mashallah. You have done great so far, you know, being in USAID and, you know, working in the development sector. You did amazing. So now when we talk about the younger women in Pakistan or countries like Pakistan, they have got a huge pressure in them, you know, the social pressure when it comes to education, when it comes to their career. And in this particular manner, USAID has a great responsibility as well, and so is the role that you have played so far. How you see this particular context in countries like Pakistan?
Well, I think that women and girls have challenges all over the world, and of course that's true also in Pakistan. So in our development work here, in our programs that perhaps we'll talk about later, we really try to consider the specific circumstances that girls and women experience and how to help them be able to advance and achieve the dreams they have, whatever those dreams are. And obviously this involves education, this involves healthcare, this involves fair opportunities to be business people if they would like to be.
Okay, Julia, tell us about to our viewers, what's it basically USAID, who are not familiar with this kind of organization. Tell us about that.
Okay, sure. USAID, or the United States Agency for International Development, is an agency of the United States government. It was started almost, or maybe more than 70 years ago now, on the idea that the world would be a better place if all of its people are healthy, educated, food secure, and able to lead dignified lives. So USAID operates with two different arms all over the world. There's an emergency response arm where these are the first responders when there's a disaster, whether it's man-made or natural disaster. Their job is to save lives. And so the other part of USAID is development. And these are the longer term kind of challenges. And we work side by side with communities and governments to address the kinds of challenges that exist in that particular country. So it could be in the education sector, health, agriculture, energy, whatever issues are holding back a country from achieving its objectives.
I think we've been reading about USAID, and you guys have played such a great role so far if you talk about these, you know, underdevelopment sectors. So right now I would love to talk about this 16 days campaign which you have done curtain raiser for as well. It's activism against gender-based violence, and this is something which is a great subject in Pakistan, I must say, or countries like Pakistan, and even in India and subcontinent, you know, where there's a great you know, factor exists regarding this violence factor I'm talking about. So what this basically campaign is and how USAID is you know, going with the campaign.
Well, let me start by saying that the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence is an annual event. It's a worldwide event, and it's in its 29th year. The objective of it is to put a spotlight on the broad-ranging violence and discrimination that people experience because they're women or girls. And the objective is to not only put the spotlight on it, but to explain the impacts of this violence and discrimination, and hopefully at some point to put an end to it.
if we talk about women, why should we all be concerned about the issues of like discrimination and violence against women? Is this really important that men should think about it?
I think that this is not just a women issue. This is a humanity issue.
Yeah.
That it's something that it affects families when there's violence in the home.
Yeah.
It's not just the woman who experiences it. The entire family experiences it in different ways. And for example, children will be witnesses to violence in a family home environment. And probably the most heartbreaking element of their being witness to it is it normalizes it. And it perhaps sometimes gives the signal to the children that this is the correct way for people to interact. This is the correct way for men and boys to interact with women and girls. And so this has a very corrosive effect. It affects the way girls want to go to school, how they perform in school. It affects the women in the household. So it cuts off the ability for women to really feel like their voice is important and that they can also contribute fully in a way they want to their country and family.
Well, I think the women in Pakistan, they have not just contributed a lot towards this particular matter that you're mentioning. With that, I think society has also got certain good examples when it comes to the females in Pakistan. But still, we have a huge kind of lacking when we talk about the female and the younger women education. So you have a huge contribution towards this particular subject as well. What those contributions are and what are the future plans when we talk about the female education, when we talk about the USAID?
Well, thanks for that question. Every single program that USAID designs and implements, of course, we do it side by side with communities and with government. And we have to consider the really particular issues that affect women and girls. So in the education sector, why is it that so many girls are not in school? Two-thirds of the people who are not in school now, the children who are not in school, two-thirds of those are girls. So we need to understand the familial kinds of issues that prevent the girls from going to school. We need to understand even the infrastructure kinds of factors that make it not comfortable for a girl, especially after she reaches puberty, to go to school. And so we address these things by engagement with the community.
So are you somehow satisfied the steps that has been taken so far, particularly if I talk about the one of the provinces, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KP government? They have taken significant steps towards females education to bring the girls to the schools, and they were even offering some kind of stipends to the people, to the students to join the schools, and teachers as well. So are you satisfied somehow the actions have been so far taken by the government, in particular the provincial governments?
I'm very happy with the steps that have been taken by the provincial governments. KP province, Sindh province, I've seen their work firsthand, and I'm satisfied with it. But I think none of us are satisfied with the pace of the achievement. And so we all are motivated to keep going forward to make sure that every girl who's eligible for school is able to participate.
Okay, if we talk about the health issues, basically, if we're addressing the whole addressing this situation, the whole scenario that women are being violated and there are certain issues. But if we talk about the health services, are you satisfied with that, or USAID program is developing some kind of strategy regarding it?
The gender aspects of any program that we implement must consider the gender aspects. And so in the health sector, the thing that's very, very important is to ensure, first of all, that women who have access to quality health care, particularly when they're pregnant. And that helps us so they have a healthy pregnancy and they give birth to healthy children. Now, that's not always possible. And so it's a work in progress. I know the federal government, the provincial governments are working very hard to ensure that women get to the medical facilities, that they're comfortable in those medical facilities, and that they receive quality care while they're there. And so this is for the good of the family in ways you couldn't even imagine. Statistically, a woman who goes for health care, she will give birth to a healthy child, and that child will survive.
True. True. Okay, so just moving ahead, talk about some economic empowerment, because when we see countries like China, they have done significant improvements, and they have achieved a lot when we talk about the economic empowerment towards the female population. But when we talk about countries like Pakistan, we have such problems as well, and the organizations like USAID, obviously they are helping us in it. Do we have certain model to follow in this particular manner if we talk about economic empowerment of females?
Yes. I think one of the most enjoyable events I've been at recently, virtually, was an event where we heard about the successes of small business people who received grants to help to grow their businesses. And 50% of those grant recipients were women, and some of them were young and dynamic. And we feel that when brilliant girls and women have a good idea, that it's our role, if we can, to help them to succeed, to help them with the wherewithal to succeed.